What's up, guys? I'm gonna do another breakdown vid for my explorations with the Ableton hybrid setup that I'm trying out at the moment. And I'm gonna cover a function, like a way of using Ableton that is, I think, quite overlooked. At least I haven't seen it being used this way much in other setups. And yeah, maybe you guys can find some inspiration, maybe sort of get some ideas for your setups as well. So yeah, I'm basically going to break it down. I mean, the thing I love most about using a hybrid setup and the flexibility that Ableton gives you is being able to set up my send return effects and being able to route them in any way I want. So I'm going to show you what I have set up here. So I have 4 send return effects. And the first one is an external effect, and is basically using Ghost, which is incredible because within the Ghost environment you can also switch modules around and play with the order of stuff really quite easily. Then as a second effect, I have just a good old reverb from Ableton. I actually don't love the reverb in Ghost, so this is actually quite useful. I just like this one much better, the stock reverb in Ableton. Then I have an instance of modular, soft modular, the cloud simulation, which I freaking love. And here is also really important. I have a macro mapped to size, pitch, and grain density. It's all moving with a single knob. And this is really, really great to get like some crazy otherworldly effects. I also custom built an on-off switch with an LFO. You can't really quite see it because of the light. To be able to toggle between the freeze functionality. And also have some slewed random noise controlling position, so that's also quite nice to bring some extra movement. And then the fourth, oh, so sorry, down. The fourth send return effect is a sort of a grain delay slash chorusy type thing with a bit of distortion at the end. I'm not going to be using that today for the example, but yeah, basically those are the 4 effects that I always have to my sort of at my disposal to create live effect chains on the fly. But then what's really, really important is the way that you can route these send returns into each other using this effects matrix here. So these are basically the 4 effects, and then I can basically send anything I want, either the syntax with modular, like the master bus, into the effects chain, into the send returns, but I also have like some textures, some atmospheric textures running on separate channels, some percussion lines as well. So I'm going to do the example today using the atmospheric textures. So right now what I'm doing is I'm going to send the atmospheric texture into the send return sort of environment thing that I created. And what I also did, I also mapped a single DJM mixer style low pass, high pass, kind of like the one that you have in Ghost as well, just to be able to control lows and highs with a single knob. Shout out to Turco for the tip on how to do that. It's really awesome. You can do it with Max for Life devices. Works really, really well. So letting in those just a bit of those high frequencies. And this is sort of like a weird background texture sample thing that I created using a complex oscillator that I built myself doing in soft modular. And so you can really hear there's like It's really nice, almost like insect type textures on the tops, and I'm just letting a bit of those through. Then we send those textures, and I'm sending them at the moment through the ghost. And right now, both the delay and reverb are off, and it's just going through one stage of distortion and the filter. And then it's being routed into the reverb. So right now it's just the texture with some reverb on it. First thing, an interesting thing we can do is add some modulation from the modular, from Quadrax, sending a burst envelope into the filter. So we already get sort of like the filter moving stuff around, and depending on what it's letting through, that's what's going to get sent into the reverb. So we already get some more movement there. It's also nice and distorted, but we don't necessarily have to stop there, because the matrix for flexible routing that I was talking about allows us to create even more wild stuff. So what I can do is then send the output of the reverb and send it into my third effect, which is the mutable instrument clouds. And we bring up the volume. You can hear just almost like a creature coming to life. The size of the grains are becoming smaller as I turn it to the right. It's almost creating like a feedbacky, crazy effect. So depending on how much of the texture I let through, you're gonna get like different reactions from the different effects that I create. And so you can just play yourself into oblivion. Like, there's really no possibilities to like type the kinds of things that you can create with this. And this is all just because of the way we are setting up distortion, modulated filter, going into the reverb, and going into the mutable instruments clouds. Crazy effects. Make it smaller by reducing the amount of texture that's going in. Make it larger. Really crazy. There it is, guys. Hope, gives you some inspiration. Love this technique, and I'm definitely going to keep using it.